there is something that we all desire, a sensation that makes us feel deeply human and fully alive. Each of us pursues it in our own way, through our work, through physical exertion, through traveling, in nature, through religion, philosophy, love, friendship, art, sex, mathematics, conversation. This something that brings us into the heart of life is here, in this room, among us. I hope to get near to it with you during the time that we have together. To that end, I would like to begin by sharing with you the moment in my life when my pursuit of this something began. It was on a warm spring day when I was about 10 years old. I was standing barefoot in the grass in the garden in front of our house. We lived in the middle of an oak forest near the sea on the north shore of Long Island. My body was warm from the sunlight that was filtering through the ceiling of leaves above me. My young mind was alert. I was just beginning to ponder those unanswerable questions about why we are here and what's the point of it all. I was standing there, looking around the garden, feeling like there was something near to me, but I couldn't quite grasp what it was. I felt an intense desire for it, to touch it, to get inside of it, to become a part of it. Nothing particular happened to me that day there on the grass, yet the memory of that moment has remained vivid in my mind over the years. The moistness of the earth under my feet, the warmth of the sunlight on my skin, the sound of the birds singing, the luxuriousness of the color and perfume of the gardens surrounding me, and an internal image of a mysterious something that had me completely seduced. I've spent my life pursuing the something that I sensed that day. My hunt for it has taken me deep into the world of the performing arts, into the world of business, across countries and languages. These travels enabled me to get near to it from time to time. Yet I was only able to begin to penetrate its depths when I realized that the source of the something I so desired was not out there in the world somewhere, but rather that it lived inside of me, inside of my imagination. My desire to become a part of that enigmatic thing that I sensed in the garden that day led me, after extensive traveling, back to myself. I came to understand the age-old adage, "There's no place like home," though the home to which I was returning was not a city or a profession or any other external structure. My home, I realized, was my imagination. Our imaginations are magnificent creatures. They are completely free. They are not restricted by any country, profession, or dogma. They travel easily across all kinds of borders, enabling unexpected revelations. As Einstein put it, the imagination encircles the world. Yet, as we all know, it's not always easy to find our way through them. So the question arises, how can we orient ourselves in our travels inside our imagination in order to be able to draw from the something that lives at its core? Well, generally when we travel, we need a map of some kind. Yet a comprehensive map of the imagination is absurd. It's contrary to its free nature. So what I believe we need are some kind of indicators or signposts that bring us in the vicinity of different areas of its vastness, and then leave us there free to explore what these areas have to offer. Through my life and work, I have found that colors serve as perfect signposts, as they are both open and evocative. Cézanne said, "Color is the place where our brain and the universe meet." I first began to experiment with the power of color, again on a warm spring day, during a dance class with Merce Cunningham in New York a number of years ago. Merce's studio was on the 11th floor of a renovated factory in the West Village. Out of one window, the Hudson River glistened in the morning sunlight. Out of the other, the tall buildings of Midtown extended upwards into a clear blue sky. After the warm-up, Merce gave an adagio that was extremely slow, where you had to extend your leg in front of you, hold it, bring it around towards the back while twisting your torso against it, hold it some more, bring it down. Extend the other leg in another direction, bend it, stretch it, hold it, tilt your torso against it, hold it some more. Now, normally, I love adagios for the pleasant feeling of fluidity that they enable, but the excruciating slowness of this particular adagio was getting me stuck in my muscles. So to get beyond this, I had the idea to imagine the color blue flooding through my body, and to think about swimming in the sea with the birds gliding on the wind above me, and about the feeling of peace and fulfillment that I have when I am in the sea, alone and free. Thinking about the color blue and its associations enabled me to draw from the part of my imagination that engenders a feeling of peace and fluidity, and to use it to achieve the quality I was looking for in the difficult adagio. This experience led me to experiment with how colors could influence my performances both on stage and in my daily life. Through years of experimentation, a method evolved that I call the iris map. I would like now to share this method with you. The iris map perceives the imagination as a vast architectural formation comprised of 7 principal spaces, each of which is distinguished by a color. Each colored space provides a fluid frame for a different state of being that includes thoughts, feelings, movements, rhythms, spatial configurations, memories, knowledge, visions, that are all somehow connected to each other. Together, the 7 colored spaces suggest a full spectrum of ways of living, working, and seeing. Using the method involves learning how to select and enter the colored space that enables you to best respond to the needs of the different situations of your life. It can also be used as a framework for understanding the full spectrum of a structure or a problem, or for organizing a set of ideas. Let's enter its architecture. In the black space, we are wild and free. It is infinite, rich, dangerous. Here we can satisfy our very human desire to explore and to discover something new. We can use its vast resources for innovation. The mystery of the black space opens up more mystery, and the shadow of that mystery, mysteries that can't be solved, only inhabited, they're unknown, embraced. When we are in the black space, we recognize that the invisible is as powerful as the visible. When I found out that my father had died, he appeared before my eyes for a moment, and then he was propelled from my sight, shooting into a vast black space. His presence in my life now is in this black space, where mystery prevails, and where my father's sharp intellect helps me to enter and to explore the unknown. The philosopher Edgar Morin said, "Man carries the mystery of life, which carries the mystery of the world." The blue space resembles the expanse of the sea that offers us a feeling of peace and tranquility, and simultaneously holds the potential for powerful movement. When we are in the blue space, we are centered inside of these extremes, balanced between opposites. We feel the uniqueness of our person that has been formed over the years through our experiences. When I was 3 years old, My mother gave birth to my younger sister. I stayed in bed with her for a few weeks. She let me drink again from a bottle, and she showered me with unconditional maternal love, making me feel just as important as the tiny infant at her breast. My memory of those warm spring afternoons with her gives me balance in my life. It opens up a field of fluidity and peace inside of me, where I feel connected to the essence of myself. The Jungian psychologist Marie-Louise von France said, "Connection with the inner center makes for a certain quietness and constancy in the personality." The pink space is full of light and air, and it enables us to gravitate towards positive thinking. When we are in it, we relax into the full pleasure of being alive. It is a bit like a garden at dawn in the springtime, where all kinds of things can happen and can grow, where crawling creatures transform into butterflies, where stiff brown branches burst into an array of color, and where our dreams dance playfully with reality. When I was in the 8th grade, I acted in the musical Little Abner. I played the domineering mother, Mammy Yokum. I wore hiking boots, striped stockings, and a miniskirt. I bossed everyone around with a straw pipe in my mouth, into which we put talcum powder, so that when I blew out, it looked like I was smoking. I had so much fun, and the other cast members had so much fun, and the audience had so much fun, and life was just so good. The filmmaker David Lynch said, "It's supposed to be great, living. It's supposed to be fantastic. We're supposed to have so much fun, like puppy dogs with our tails wagging." Energy from the red space explodes from deep inside of us, bringing to the surface our passion and the extremes of our humanness. In it, we move from the theoretical to the practical. We get things done. We increase our productivity. We realize our ideas. The red space is like a city that lives inside of us with organized networks that function efficiently and that keep us moving forward towards action. It pulses vigorously, compelling us to act. The red space is like a city that never sleeps. In it, we take charge of our ferocious, wild energy. We constrain it. We rein it in so that we can reach our goals, so that we can pierce the center of our target. I was drawn to dancing from an early age because it made me feel deeply alive. It made an energy surge up inside of me that I didn't know I had. My body taught me about concentration, about precision, about depth of feeling. The choreographer and dancer Martha Graham said, "There is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action." The green space brings us over borders of time and space into the present, into this moment that we are sharing together that contains everything. The past and the future are here now among us. They have no other existence. The green space is like a murmuring matrix, like a web of ideas and sensations that are alive, that breathe, and that are continually moving and growing. One summer, while I was lying on the beach with my daughter, completely relaxed, enjoying the warmth of the sun, I felt like time opened up, and that I was living in between the passing moments. I felt myself as an integral, participating part of the movement of the world, and I felt like I had somehow come home. The 17th century mystic Angelus Silesius said, "Time is of your own making." When we feel that what we are doing resonates beyond our individual life, we are in the purple space. Here we feel how our life stories are echoes of humanity's stories. The purple space is like a vaulted architecture that opens elegantly inside of us and that gives us a clear perception of the whole of things. When I want to get perspective on my life, I think about my Greek grandfather. I never met him. I know him only from stories and photographs. He was well established in Asia Minor on the Black Sea where my father was born, when world events uprooted him from the area, along with many other Greeks. He arrived in Athens with his family, and the stories continued from there. I feel my grandfather sometimes extending his wisdom across history into my present. My connection to him makes me feel like I am a part of something larger than just myself. The historian Theodore Zeldin said, "The mind is a refuge for ideas dating from many different centuries." In the gold space, we feel power. We can influence others, affect change, create something new. The gold space is an architecture comprised of light that supports our entire being and that enables us to extend beyond ourselves, making us feel larger than life. One weekend, after my mother died, I went out to Long Island to visit my father. He was resting when I arrived, so I wandered out into the garden. I sat down on a bench near to the place where my pursuit of something began many years before. A movement of the wind created an opening in the leaves above me, through which a ray of light shot down and landed on the grass right in front of me. There it was, in that darting ray of light, the something I had sensed so long ago. I could finally see it and feel it clearly. Goethe said, "Someday, perhaps, inner light will shine forth from us, and then we will need no other light." It is light that creates color. When it's dark outside, we can't see that the grass is green. When the sun rises, its rays of light reveal the greenness. So it seems that the something we all desire that can enable us to live our lives in full color is a kind of light that is here, in this room among us, living inside of each of our imaginations. And light doesn't recognize national borders or differences of race or of gender or lines separating disciplines of thought. Light moves freely among the sciences, the arts, the humanities, the business world, and beyond. I believe that if we each challenge ourselves to bring our inner light forth, as Goethe so majestically said, and to use its full spectrum of color in our interactions and collaborations with others, that a collective light can emerge that will perhaps dispel some of the darkness permeating our world. Thank you.